Hello and welcome to this week's edition of CTN Community Update. Two parks in Coon Rapids will see a big overhaul this summer following action by the City Council this week. On Tuesday night, the City Council awarded the contract for improvements at Riverwind Park and Crooked Lake Park to Custom Builders Incorporated in the amount of nearly $1.7 million. Plans for Riverwind Park call for basketball and pickleball courts, a new playground, trails, improved parking, and a park building in the future. Over at Crooked Lake Park, plans call for a new playground, improved tennis courts, sand volleyball, picnic shelters, restrooms, a parking lot expansion, central plaza, and fishing pier. Another $200,000 was approved for the purchase of playground equipment and lighting for Crooked Lake Park. Some good news this week for motorists who use Main Street in Coon Rapids. A segment of the roadway closed for emergency bridge repairs has reopened. Crews pulled the road closed signs around 1 o'clock Thursday afternoon, allowing traffic back onto the westbound lanes of Main Street between Shenandoah Boulevard and Coon Creek Boulevard. The lanes were closed in late January after a county highway worker discovered a bump while driving over the land bridge that didn't feel normal. An inspection discovered a ledge on a pier cap that holds one of the concrete bridge decks had failed. Repair work started in late February and was completed weeks ahead of the original schedule. But it's just a temporary fix. A more significant permanent repair will be required this summer. Anoka County hopes to maintain one lane of traffic in each direction when that occurs, but those plans have not been finalized. A green light this week for a project that would add passenger rail service between the Twin Cities and Duluth. The Federal Railroad Administration says the Northern Lights Express project will not have significant environmental impacts, which concludes that phase of the project. The next phase is seeking federal and state funding for NLX, which is expected to cost $500 to $600 million. The line would share the tracks with the BNSF Railway and has proposed stops in Minneapolis, Coon Rapids, Cambridge, Hinckley, and Duluth, as well as Superior, Wisconsin. School security is in the national spotlight following last month's deadly school shooting in Parkland, Florida. This week, Minnesota Governor Mark Dayton pitched a $21 million plan to improve school security here at home. Under Dayton's Safe and Secure Schools Act, the Anoka-Hennepin School District would see an extra $752,000 for safety improvements. A total of $16 million would be allocated across the state. An additional $5 million would be available for school-based mental health grants. The DFL governor's plan is similar to one recently proposed by a Republican senator from Rochester. Locally, District 11 is using money from last fall's successful school referendum to make some security improvements at local schools. At Coon Rapids High School, a new addition will provide 2 new entrances, a main school entrance with security control space, as well as an activities entrance for community access to the school's field house. The district is also doing away with the remaining 62 portable classrooms at Anoka-Hennepin schools. Preventing drug and alcohol use by teenagers. For the 3rd straight year, discussions at local middle and high schools are bringing more awareness to the topic. CTN's Dan Carpenter attended an educational event for parents on Tuesday night in Anoka.
Not every story of addiction gets to be told.
We're the lucky ones that made it and that are here to share our story.
At the Anoka-Hennepin Educational Services Center, prevention tools were given to parents.
I always say it's like flushing the toilet and throwing my life in it.
Jeremy Sutliff says he began using marijuana and alcohol at age 13, and that led to using other drugs.
When my parents found out about my addiction to opiates and heroin, they were just astonished. They're like, "No way, what are you talking about?"
Minnesota Adult and Teen Challenge, a treatment program for those struggling with addiction, hopes stories like Jeremy's will prevent teens from using.
If we can prevent something from happening, it's a lot less effort to prevent something than to go back and fix it.
For parents, that can mean spotting the signs early. A sudden change in friends can be a clue. This panel recommends monitoring a child's social media for drug code words and keeping an eye out for drug paraphernalia. But first, parents need to know what to look for.
And one of the hottest new things kids are using in e-cigs is a thing called a Juul that looks like a USB. And it plugs in like a USB, it looks exactly like one, but it's an e-cig.
Even cell phones, cameras, and deodorant sticks have been used to conceal drugs.
And oftentimes when you've found something on your child, that means that there's potentially a larger issue at stake.
The Anoka-Hennepin School District has resources available now. But first, parents need to reach out.
If your stomach's telling you something, it's probably telling you to go find some help.
Dan Carpenter for CTN Update.
Minnesota Adult Teen Challenge surveyed students after they had seen its presentation on alcohol and drug use. It found 81% committed to not using illegal drugs in the future. Resources for parents can be found online at drugfree.org. A push is underway at the state capitol to restrict the sale of tobacco to people under the age of 21. On Thursday, a bipartisan group of lawmakers from the Minnesota House introduced a bill that would raise the tobacco sale age to 21. 5 cities in Minnesota already ban the sale of tobacco to those under 21. Proponents say raising the minimum age would prevent an estimated 30,000 kids from becoming smokers over the next 15 years. Last year, the Minnesota Senate introduced a similar bill. The Anoka County Sheriff's Office is holding a public forum next week on a proposed body camera policy. The forum will take place on Wednesday, March 14th at 7 p.m. at the Anoka County Sheriff's Office in Andover. The forum is an opportunity for the public to provide input and get their questions answered about the proposed policy. A copy of the proposal is available for review on the county's website. A sandwich shop founded in Eau Claire, Wisconsin back in the 1980s will open its first location in the North Metro of the Twin Cities this weekend. 2 women have teamed up to open the newest location of Herbert and Gerbert's on 7th Avenue in Anoka, just south of Highway 10. The restaurant franchise specializes in submarine sandwiches. In addition to several grand opening specials, 3 lucky people will win free sandwiches for 1 year. Herbert and Gerbert's has more than 100 locations in 16 states.
Well, that's all right, Mama. Well, that's all right with you. That's all right, Mama. Just any way you do, that's all right.
A little music Thursday night in the Coon Rapids Civic Center. Dozens of people turned out to hear Vinnie Rose perform. Rose is an acoustic guitarist and vocalist and has a wide variety of musical styles. This was the 3rd concert in the annual Dessert and Coffee Concert Series, sponsored by the Coon Rapids Arts Commission. The final concert, which takes place on April 12th, will feature the rock group The Mooners. If you're looking for something to do this weekend, a reminder, the 20th Annual North Suburban Home Improvement Show is taking place Saturday from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Andover YMCA Community Center. In addition to 100-plus exhibitors, there will be a do-it-yourself workshop and demonstrations. Admission is free, but you're asked to bring a non-perishable item for the ACBC food shelf. Also this weekend, Northtown Mall is hosting the 52nd Annual Wood Carving Artistry Show. It takes place Saturday from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. and again on Sunday from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. A variety of carving styles and subject matter will be showcased. Exhibitors range from those newer to the craft to experienced award-winning artists from across Minnesota. Sounds like fun, and actually our own Dan Carpenter will be there this weekend checking that out, so he will have a report for us next week. That's going to bring us to the end of today's show. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again next week.